If you're looking for a meatball recipe that's a little bit above the usual one that you always make, this is the one for you. These are Mongolian meatballs made on the Big Green Egg Mini Max.
Spoiler, I've seen them and they look delicious.
Come on. Look,
they're so glistening.
Yeah, I was just going to say the word that comes to mind when I see that is glistening.
Is there some cornstarch there?
Oh, you better believe there is, baby.
That's the cornstarch glisten.
Exactly.
I know.
It's not really cheating.
No.
I don't think it's cheating. It's necessary.
How is that
get
cheating?
That glisten.
Yes.
No, but you said it like, ooh, is this a big top secret?
No, it looks good. That's what the restaurants use. That's how they get everything so glistening and thick.
Now, you could for sure get a packaged or like a jarred Mongolian sauce, but when you see how easy this is, yeah, I like how you're shaking your head. I've done it before because you're like, it's saving time, whatever. They're not good.
You know what I call those?
What?
Sugar in a jar.
100%.
They lean on sugar. They don't have a lot of flavor. They're so high in sugar and salt. That's all that those are.
Exactly. And when you see this one come together, this is done literally under 5 minutes. You're not going to be able to beat that, and it's homemade. You'll feel so proud of yourself. It's very minimal ingredients, and there is sugar in here. There's brown sugar, but it's not all sugar.
That's the thing. I'm not against having a sweetness in a sauce, but if it's 99% sugar and that's all you're tasting, I'm not 5 years old. My palate is more developed than just wanting
100%.
like a candy sauce.
Now, is your palate more developed for jarred garlic?
No.
Because it's in there, baby. It is in there.
Why would you wreck that with this?
It's not wrecked.
Take the extra step and get it fresh. Like, it's not like we live in the Klondikes. Fresh is available. Who would eat canned fruit?
Is someone who's living in the Klondike not having access to garlic?
Okay, I know. If you live in the Klondikes, I'm sorry. But, like, I just feel like if it's available.
See, look how easy that is. You let it come up to temp here. You start, okay, I did a little game here. Can you see what I'm spelling through the sauce?
No.
That's an M. That's a K.
And a heart.
Yeah! How did you know it was going to be a heart?
Maybe because I live my life with you and I know what you're going to do.
I like to play games with my sauce, okay? That's how you see if it's thick enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, these meatballs are chicken and beef, okay? I feel like those proteins together taste incredible together.
Why?
Because I just feel like they balance each other, so they're not pure chickeny, they're not pure beefy. They're a perfect harmony of flavors. And also, I just wanted to remember, I've just remembered that these meatballs are gluten-free.
Ooh.
So a great way to make any meatball gluten-free is instead of adding breadcrumbs, add cornmeal.
It'll absorb as well.
It does.
As well.
It absorbs. It gives it that delicious texture that we all know and love about meatballs, and then it remains gluten-free. And then this also is how you keep it gluten-free. Tamari. Mm-hmm. And honey taught me all about that.
Tamari rocks. I find it's a bit stronger.
Here we go. It's in the balls.
You're putting
too.
it in there
it's
too.
In the balls
I know. Why am I not surprised?
It's in there, baby. It is in there.
When you put so much too.
Yeah.
Oh God, guys, help me.
Every time I put it in there, I'm like, that's for Kiki.
Ew, I can smell it from here. It has that like terrible smell.
Can you smell it on me?
It's maybe it is you.
Okay, so then like we always say, your hands are the best tools in the kitchen. Get in there with your hands and then give it a smell. Once you've incorporated it, I feel like you can smell if it's been seasoned enough.
You really got in there too. It was your schnoz was like almost touching it.
My schnoz, buddy? Excuse me?
And quite a schnoz. It's a nice schnoz, but Maddie's schnoz will know if it's salted enough.
I can tell this schnoz isn't this size schnoz can tell anything seasoning wise, okay? So what I like to do when it comes to forming meatballs is use a 1 tablespoon measure and make sure that they're all the same size. I love a meatball that's uniform like that. Does that not look incredible?
And they'll cook evenly too, so it's not just for looks.
Exactly, you're right. It's not just for looks. Now, here comes a pro tip. It is okay to put these into the freezer for a little while before they hit the grill.
Why?
Okay, so I always do that. Key does it when she's cooking meat because it makes for an easier transfer from tray to grill. So those are really malleable. They're very like gooey. So sometimes that can make it difficult to transfer onto the grill. If you freeze them for about 10 to 15 minutes, the exterior just freezes a little bit, okay? And so it's not like it's a frozen meatball. It just makes it easier to transfer to the grill. And we are all about making grilling easier for everybody.
And you're also making sure that it stays nice and cold while you go set up the grill too.
It was freezing out there. I wasn't
was
worried.
it?
Are you joking? It was so cold. I wasn't worried about it. It's not like it's summertime when you bring the tray out and there's like wasps and flies coming at it. This was cold enough. This is colder than the freezer probably.
Yeah, you probably just could have brought them out there with you. They would have been fine.
I don't know why I didn't actually, because they were still in the freezer, but I was cooking these on the Big Green Egg Mini Max, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was quite concerned about if the number of meatballs was going to be able to fit on that grill.
I'm concerned for you.
I've taken this grill to the limits, okay? I've made 2 racks of ribs on this, believe it or not, but you just got to finesse around a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look small, but it's deceiving, the size, because it's like, it looks like it can hold less than it actually can. You'd be surprised.
It's so true.
Like, look at that tray. How is that?
I know, I'm not lying. I literally was like, wait a second. This is a massive tray. How is all what's on that tray going to fit on the grill? Look, I'm even like, oh, why did I choose this grill to do this? But I'm like, sometimes I like a little bit of a challenge, you know?
I like that you're making sure to clean the grill grates. That's a step you can't miss.
Clean the grill grates. Now I wanted to show you guys I'm transitioning from glove to latex glove, so you guys don't think I'm touching it with my gloved hands. And see, look, they're frozen on the exterior, still fine on the inside. So here I am starting to put these onto the grill, and I don't know, you guys probably just saw me blow into the grill like that. That's a thing that I do. I don't know why. Whenever I'm grilling, when there's smoke coming at me, I always give it a little bit for some
so it's
reason.
away from your face.
I know, but I do it all the time. Even if it's not at my face, it's like just a thing that I do when I grill.
Yeah, I've noticed that too now watching videos of ourselves cooking. I do a lot of weird stuff.
I know.
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm always going, I'm like, why are you wrinkling your
You're a
nose?
sniffler.
I didn't even know I was doing it. And sometimes I'm obviously cooking and finding myself going, why is your tongue out? What are you doing?
We're gonna leave that there. I don't want to know why your tongue's out. Okay, so I made it on the grill. I needed some finessing. At first, I was like, we gotta put them like so far away from each other, but towards the end, I was like, get them tight and in together.
And look at, somehow they're all on perfectly.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So then I was like, okay, is that gonna work? It worked.
She got them on.
It worked. Okay, so I had to check 15 minutes. You know I'm a peeker.
You are a total peeker.
I had to peek.
If you're looking, you ain't cooking. Maddie doesn't follow that rule.
I always say that rule and I break it every single time.
Well, you should stop saying it. That's not your rule anymore.
Okay, so another 15. Look at the beautiful red color that's happening on those. That's just from the charcoal.
So are you flipping them or no?
No, so because this grill is small, the deflector plate that's on the bottom on there, I knew that those balls were safe. But the ones that are like peeking out a little bit past the deflector plate, I was like, those ones are gonna get a little bit crusty. So you can see I just rejigged them around.
That makes sense.
So I brought these to the internal temperature of 170, 175, just to make sure that they were perfectly cooked. We always like to say when you're grilling, you're not going for time, you're going for internal temperature. And then I brought the sauce out there because when something's hot and it goes into a sauce, it absorbs that sauce.
Yeah, remember that cornmeal that was in there? That stuff's looking for moisture. It's like, get some moisture in here. Those look absolutely perfect.
I wanted to ask you, because I thought this when I made these, do you think that's enough sauce?
I would always err on the side of saucier.
Me too.
Because I like saucier.
I might double it next time.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, sometimes if you're serving things like this over rice, you don't want it swimming in sauce. Because I've had that too, where you're just like, now this is more of like a stew.
Yeah, I know, because at first I was like, it's not looking like enough, but this is a very rich, flavorful, it's spicy, it's sweet, the sauce, like it's sticky. So I think at first I was like, I need to double it, but then after when I actually did serve it on rice with some veg, it did seem to be enough.
Yeah, like sometimes I don't want something.
Looks-wise though, it does look dry.
I think if you were to be serving it with like bread for dunking and swiping in the sauce, that's one thing. But if it's over rice, I don't know. It might be, I think that's the perfect amount of sauce. Those look phenomenal.
Okay, so then I just put that over the heat because I wanted to warm them back up because the sauce was now cold. So I just put it back on the heat, went in for a little taste. Look at the smoke ring.
Ooh.
I don't know. The smoke ring is so magical. I don't know how that happens like so perfectly like that.
Oh, that looks so good. And they look nice and juicy, tender. Ew, you're double dipping in your. Oh no.
I was like, that one's for Kiki. She knows I'm a double dipper. She knows it.
Take one dip and end it.
As long as you own it, I stand by it, okay? I'm not going to do that at a party. Some people are probably like, not going to invite Maddie to a party of mine. I won't do it at a party, but if it's my own family, you're getting a little bit of my spit in your bite.
It's cooked off.
Exactly. I think that you guys probably are looking at this and being like, that looks like a delicious dish. It looks like it was easy enough. I might want to give that a try the next time I have company over because I think that this is a very impressive dish. Very easy on the pocketbook because it's ground beef and it's ground chicken. And we're all looking to do that these days because groceries are through the roof. My stomach is like seeing that, being like, I remember what those taste like. I remember what those taste like.